So we've got a lot more information coming out from Facebook. Yesterday, the company published its prospectus for its upcoming share offering, and we've got a fair number of things in there. Revenue doesn't look so good, profit was down, but also we got some more details on its acquisition of Instagram. Rob, you looked at this. What are we seeing?
Well, we saw a pretty extraordinary 20% termination fee. So if the deal isn't consummated by December or mid-December of this year, basically the Instagram guys walk away with $200 million in their company, which is a pretty huge.
Yeah, what's the normal fee these days? With 3, 4, 5%?
Looking at 3 or 5%. But what it tells us is that the guys at Instagram perceived a great risk that this deal could go on for a long time, and there are some reasons to believe that is the case. One is, regulators have been pouring all over Facebook and other people about domination in various areas of their business.
And we've seen it before with other companies, right?
Yeah. I mean, the big one was last year. ITA Software was a travel company. It basically took 9 months to close that deal. Google was buying them. They had to make a lot of concessions. And these poor, when you're in a startup, remember, 9 months, which is what it took ITA to get their deal done. 9 months is half of the entire life of Instagram.
I mean, to be fair, Facebook says it thinks it's going to close this deal in this current quarter, so by the middle of the year. So Facebook is not at least publicly saying it thinks it has any of these issues, but there was clearly a concern of these guys. And if you look at some of the other numbers in the latest version of the prospectus, we had quite a lot before. We've got another quarter of information now. You can see the mature, why Facebook is being defensive, why they did this deal. Because in mature markets like the US, the number of users is plateauing. You can see that pattern even more clearly. The profits are down because the expenses are up. Revenues they're not flat, averaged across a year, but they're flattening out gradually.
It's weird though, isn't it? To think of Facebook as a mature company sounds a bit weird though.
It hasn't gone public yet.
Yeah, exactly. What else does this tell us though, Rob? If we go back to the deal with Instagram, Zuckerberg was all over it. Literally, he was the only one doing most negotiations, and yet he acquiesces, it seems, to this $200 million fee. Is that something that shareholders should be worried about?
Well, I think, the whole deal was, as we wrote at the time, was a sort of, it looked a bit like a panicky attempt to get it, to buy this thing. The company had closed its fundraising at a valuation of $500 million a couple of days before the weekend. Over the weekend, Zuckerberg pulls together a deal for $1 billion, which he has not yet, he didn't even inform his board of it. I think I read somewhere that he told Sheryl Sandberg, who's the COO, on like Monday. So clearly he cobbled this thing together. When the other guy managed to get a 20% break fee like this, it suggests that you didn't negotiate very hard.
Well, also, let's not forget when Facebook did its briefing for all the bank analysts of the 31 underwriters it has and all the rest of it, so they can start figuring out their own projections and stuff. Zuckerberg didn't even show up. This guy doesn't care what the price is. So by extension, he probably doesn't care very much what he paid for Instagram. He only cares about the product.
But for now, people are willing to think of him as a visionary, and so they're giving him 56% of the vote. They're giving him all sorts of extra special, governance rights, and they're probably not flinching. And in fact, one of the things you see is in the prospectus is that they show the price at which they determined Facebook stock to be in the deal is
the
what,
Instagram deal.
Instagram deal means it's a $104-103 billion valuation, which is of course higher than the 75.
So they're already telling the shareholders, the prospective shareholders, what they should be paying. Well, it's a great story. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll be back with you tomorrow for more breaking views.